Okay, so I don't really know how to start this. This is kind of something that I wanted to do for a while. Um, I've been watching a lot of other people do things like this, and I feel like it's kind of helped me through the whole process to kind of see what other people are doing, and so yeah, so I'm gonna just kind of do. It's not an update video because I've never made a video before, but I guess this is my starting point. Um, I've been off Klonopin for about 9 months now, and I was only on it for probably I can't even really pin down the exact time that I was on it, because it's kind of a little spotty, but I was on it about 5 months, I'd say, every day, mostly at night, sometimes during the day. I didn't take like a lot at all. So it is a little surprising that it affects me this negatively so far out. So I was probably taking like max a milligram a day of Klonopin. Um, so yeah, I did that for about 5 months, mostly at night. And actually, towards the end of the 5 months, the last month of that 5 months was me like doing a taper, and I was fine during the taper, and I didn't expect really anything negatively. I only tapered, like, I wasn't feeling too bad because I was only on it for 4 months before I started my taper, and so I was like, oh, I'll probably be fine, and I did like I was probably on 0.75 milligrams at that time, so I went down to zero point 0.5 and then 0.25 every 2 weeks, or excuse me, every week, and then 0.135, and then excuse me, eventually just completely off, and I was fine. And I ended up, for a week after that, I was fine. I didn't feel bad at all. So I was like, oh, these guys that are talking about how bad the withdrawal is are kind of, maybe they're exaggerating, or maybe I just got lucky. But about a week after that, after I finished my taper, I got really anxious. I was playing poker at a casino, and something happened. Um, I got like in an argument with someone over a hand, and that kind of set me off. Like, I'm usually not in like a very standoffish person. Like, I'm usually pretty keep to myself, and I'm a pretty anxious guy. So situations like that can cause me to panic, or stuff like that. So that kind of set me off. So I went back to. I was having a panic attack after that night. Um, so I took 1 milligram of Klonopin, and it just, like, I was fine for that night, but like after that it was beginning, like, it's not where it is now, but it was like I could tell, like, like I reset something in my brain. Like, this is so, like, I can't really find an explanation for this because a lot of people don't have this. I successfully tapered, withdrew, blah blah blah, pretty okay for a week, and then I went back to a milligram, and then it like activated something in my brain, and it I don't know, like, it just did something in there, and it kind of like, it was like, oh, it treated it as like I was cold turkeying because I didn't taper off that 1 milligram. Like, I took it once, and it fucked my brain up so much, and I don't know why, but for the month 2 months after that, like the 2 months, kind of, going through, after that I was like going through acute withdrawals, and then during those 2 months I was really struggling, and um, I ended up going back on. I was feeling actually pretty okay, like a month and a half after. Like, that month and a half was pretty shitty, but month and a half after, I was feeling okay. I went on vacation. I was able to get out of the house, all that fun stuff. So on vacation, um, I got I was like, I'm okay now, like blah blah blah. And I made a poor decision to, when I got back from vacation, to start taking Percocet again. And I had been off Percocet for a while at that point, probably about 5 or 6 months. Um, so when I was on the Percocet for like a week, I was fine. Like, just kind of, you know how. Well, you probably don't know how, but it can be such a good drug. But when something goes bad, like with me and my anxiety, when I'm stuck like in a high from Percocet, like obviously, I'm chasing that high. That's why I was taking it. But I got into this situation. Like I took like 1 or 2 5 milligram Percocets before work, and I just right when it kicked in, it was just like boom, panic attack out of nowhere. Like I was taking the Percocet for a week before that, and I was fine. I was enjoying it, and just out of nowhere, just complete panic, derealization, depersonalization. This was my first experience with it. Um, and I just, I suffered through work, blah, blah, blah. And I went home and I was like, oh, it's probably a one off thing. I'm probably okay because, I was addicted to drugs at this point. I kind of had that personality still. And I took it again after work. I was like, it was probably just, it wasn't the drugs, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm trying to justify, trying to chase that high still. And I took another one and it's like, boom, another panic attack. And I didn't understand this because I had never experienced this. Like Percocet for me was an anxiety reliever. And I didn't understand. And it was so unfair to me at that point. And so, I wake up the next morning after those 2 panic attacks, and I was like, maybe if I try a really small dose, it'll just, it'll be fine. And it wasn't fine. And from then on, every time, I took anything, it's like boom, panic attack. Any state of mind change, panic attack. And 2 months to the day from that initial milligram I took at the casino that I was telling you guys about, I had a panic attack when I was out with my girlfriend for her birthday. Unfortunately, I was having a really bad derealization episode, and this was a week after the derealization at work. Like, sorry, this timeline's a little confusing, but so I had that derealization episode, and I was so miserable, and I ended up taking another milligram of Klonopin for, God knows why. I was so out of my mind. Like I hadn't taken Percocet before this episode for a few days. I thought I was okay, and it was not okay. I guess maybe the Percocet triggered something, or maybe the Klonopin just had like a late, I don't know. It's so weird with the drugs I was taking, and I mean it's not like I was taking like psychedelics or anything. It was very limited benzo withdrawal up to that point for the last 2 months, and then a little bit of Percocet for a week, and it triggered something in my brain, and just derealization, depersonalization. I took a Klonopin that night because I was freaking out, and I woke up the next morning like shit. Like what? It might restart my withdrawals again, even though I thought I was probably healed from them at that point, even though I had no idea that I probably wasn't. And from that point on, it is now like 9.5 months later, and I'm struggling every day now, and it's so bizarre to me. Kind of these inconsistent Percocet, or excuse me, Klonopin doses. I took 1 milligram 2 weeks, or excuse me, 2 months after my taper, and then after that 2 months Or sorry, that was a week. And then after that week, it was 2 months. And then I took another. And now it's 9.5 months later. And it's just like full blown withdrawal still. Like I kind of feel like I'm getting a little better, sort of. But day to day for me is it's like a lot of waves and a lot of windows. And it's misery. At the very least, I was like, for the first 5 months, I could not work at all. I could not, do much of anything. And it was just a pain, like getting out of bed in the morning, because I knew I was going to deal with the derealization is the staple of my withdrawal. That is like an everyday guarantee. Like I've had maybe the last 9.5 months, I've maybe had 7 or 8 days where I haven't had the derealization. And obviously it's more severe some days than others. And a lot of what I eat, like if I eat a lot of sugar or junk food, it'll be worse. But it really sucks. I can't drink alcohol because I'm afraid it's gonna, alcohol is similar to benzo, in the sense that it affects the GABA receptors. Or I'm not too sure. I've done a little reading on it, but obviously I'm not gonna mess with anything at this point. And I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know if this is ever gonna end. I don't know if this is just because I've never had anxiety like this or derealization ever like this before I ever took Klonopin. So I don't know if I'm just stuck in this withdrawal for, I don't know, God knows how long, or if it's just like, this is my base anxiety from now on. Like, you're past the withdrawal, but this is who you are. This is your base with anxiety. And that thought scares me more than anything. Now I've, for the first 5 months I wasn't able to work, and then I had to work, to get money and pay bills. And so I got a delivery driver job that a lot of days I had to suffer through because I was just completely out of it. And then I did that for 2 months, got a little money, and now I'm doing, like, I kind of realized that I have to probably push myself to the point where I can, get a real job. And that's what I did. So I got a 40-hour 9 to 5 job at a corporation, and it's been 2 weeks, and it's been a struggle, but it's probably not as bad as it would have been 4 or 5 months ago. But again, I don't know. Like, it's hard to even go back and be like, I was feeling worse then versus what I am now, because I'm still feeling shitty. And I kind of, rank my days on like how bad the derealization was or how bad my anxiety was, because I still get pretty bad panic attacks, especially these past 2 weeks at work. I've had a few, and it just, I can't do anything for it. If I can't drink alcohol, I'm obviously not going back on benzos. I can't smoke weed because that instant panic attack. I can't take anything, any drug, even like maybe Advil I can take. But just the thought of putting something in my body that could mess with my brain now after everything that's happened is just, the thought just terrifies me. And I don't know. So basically, the rundown, I was on Klonopin for 4 or 5 months, went off, felt okay, took it a week after my taper, felt shitty for a while, a month and a half, 2 months, and then I took another dose, and now 9.5 months later, I feel like garbage, and every day is a struggle, and I'm scared it's going to be like this for longer than I can handle. So, I don't know why. I guess I do know why I made this video. I know a lot of people out there are going through the same thing, and a lot of people were misinformed when they were first on this drug, and not a lot of doctors tell you about the side effects of benzos, which can be, life-ruining. These withdrawals can last for years, which I'm kind of assuming is what's going to happen for me, because at 9.5 months, I don't feel much better. So yeah, if you guys, are going through the same thing, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be in the comment section. I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but I think it was good that, I made this video and I was able to talk about it in the open, because I've never really done that before. So yeah, let me know what your guys' experiences are. I'm hoping eventually, as I'll hopefully make more videos as this goes on. I'll do 10-month, 11-month, 1 year, blah blah blah, as I continue to progress through this. But yeah, that is video number 1, 9.5 months. Hopefully I'll have some better news next time. And yeah, thanks for watching.